The calendar says spring is near, and for many, the arrival of March brings a sense of hope and renewal. We look forward to longer days, warmer sunshine, and the first hints of green returning to our neighborhoods. It's a time when we expect to pack away our heavy coats and boots, and maybe even open a window to let in the fresh air. But sometimes, the promise of spring is just that. A promise, not a guarantee. Instead of gentle breezes and budding trees, winter has other plans. The cold lingers and snowflakes continue to fall, blanketing cities and towns that are eager for a change in season. Meteorological spring officially begins on March 1st, marking a new chapter in the seasonal calendar. For meteorologists, this date signals the transition from winter's grip to the milder days ahead. But nature doesn't always follow the calendar's rules. Many people hope for warmth and blooming landscapes, imagining strolls in the park, the scent of fresh flowers, and the sight of green grass pushing through the last patches of melting snow. It's the vision of spring we all crave after months of gray skies and icy winds. But this year, winter is staging a dramatic comeback across much of the country. Just as we start to believe in spring's arrival, a powerful blast of cold air and snow sweeps in, catching many off guard. Over 120 million people from the Midwest to the Northeast will feel this swift, jarring return of cold and snow. Cities that were beginning to thaw are suddenly plunged back into winter, with streets, parks, and rooftops once again buried under a thick layer of white. One day, it's mild enough for a light jacket. The next, you're digging out the snow shovel and bundling up in scarves and gloves. The weather can change in a matter of hours, transforming sunny afternoons into swirling snowstorms that make travel and daily routines a challenge. This isn't a light dusting. These are significant storms, capable of disrupting daily life, closing schools, and creating hazardous travel conditions. Commuters face slippery roads, while snowplows work overtime to keep streets clear. For many, it's a reminder that winter's power can linger long after we've turned the page on the calendar. The clash of lingering northern cold and surging southern warmth is setting up a battleground over some of the country's most densely populated areas. This collision of air masses fuels intense storms, bringing not just snow, but also gusty winds and dramatic temperature swings. As we flip to March, it's not the gentle arrival of spring flowers we see, but the relentless march of snowplows and the sight of early blooms weighed down by fresh snow. Parks and gardens that should be waking up are instead caught in winter's icy embrace. Winter's not done yet, so keep your coats handy and your snow shovels close. This deceptive start to spring is a reminder that nature has its own timeline. And sometimes, the season of renewal begins with one last icy act before the true warmth of spring finally arrives. The culprit behind this wintry blast isn't just a passing weather system, it's a powerful force that begins far to the north, deep within the heart of Canada. Each winter, the vast, frozen expanses of the Canadian Arctic act like a giant refrigerator, storing up cold air until the right conditions send it surging southward. This isn't just a local chill, it's a sweeping transformation that can change the weather for millions across the continent. The real driver is a surge of Arctic air, spilling relentlessly south from Canada's icy wilderness. As this cold air mass descends, it doesn't just bring a drop in temperature. It brings a complete shift in the atmosphere, pushing aside milder air and setting the stage for dramatic weather changes. This frigid dome of air is on the move, sweeping into the upper Midwest on February 28th, and then marching steadily eastward to reach the Northeast by March 1st. Cities like Chicago, Minneapolis, and Detroit will feel the first icy grip, with temperatures plunging rapidly and winds picking up, making it feel even colder than the thermometer suggests. But before this Arctic invasion arrives, there's a brief, almost deceptive warm-up. The Ohio Valley and Northeast will bask in a taste of spring, with sunshine and temperatures climbing into the 40s, 50s, even low 60s in some spots. People might be tempted to shed their winter coats and enjoy the milder weather, but this warmth is only temporary, a calm before the storm. This fleeting warmth isn't just a pleasant interlude, it actually helps fuel the coming storms. As the mild, moist air surges northward and collides with the advancing Arctic front, the stage is set for a dramatic clash of air masses. The skies darken, winds shift, and the atmosphere becomes charged with energy, ready to unleash a variety of wintry weather. Think of it as a heavyweight fight. On one side, you have the mild, moisture-laden air from the south, and on the other, the dense, bone-chilling Arctic cold. When these two forces meet, neither gives way easily, and the result is a turbulent mix of weather that can change rapidly from hour to hour. As the warm air is forced to rise over the denser cold air, it cools quickly, triggering a cascade of precipitation. Snow, sleet, freezing rain, and plain rain, sometimes all within a single storm. Roads become slick, visibility drops, and travel becomes hazardous as the wintry mix coats everything in ice and snow. The arrival of Arctic air doesn't just bring a quick freeze, it can lock the region into a deep chill for days. Ponds that had started to thaw refreeze, the ground hardens once again, and any early signs of spring are put on hold. Even as the calendar turns to March, winter's grip remains firm. The result is persistent cold, accumulating wintry precipitation, and widespread disruption. Roads become treacherous, schools and businesses may close, and communities must dig out from heavy snow and ice. For many, it's a reminder that winter isn't over yet, and that Canada's chilly gift can still surprise us. Even as the days grow longer and the sun climbs higher in the sky, Canada's cold air can still pack a punch well into March, reminding us that spring's arrival is never guaranteed, and that winter's final act can be its most dramatic. Two storm systems will deliver a 1-2 punch. The first arrives Sunday into Monday, spreading snow, ice, and rain from the Mississippi Valley to the Atlantic. Expect 1 to 6 inches of snow inland, making Monday's commute treacherous. Hot on its heels, a second larger storm arrives Tuesday to Wednesday, bringing a surge of warmer, wetter air. Rapid warming will turn snow and ice to rain, raising the risk of flooding as rain falls on frozen ground and fresh snowpack. This second system could be just as disruptive, if not more, than the first. Major cities and highways will bear the brunt of these storms. Midwest cities like Springfield, Indianapolis, and Dayton face significant snow and messy commutes. Interstate 70 and I-80 will see hazardous travel with slick, slushy, and icy conditions. Even minor accumulations can snarl traffic and cause accidents, especially on bridges and untreated roads. Airports will struggle with delays and cancellations as crews battle snow and ice. Travelers should expect disrupted plans and long waits. A single storm can ripple across the nation, affecting flights and roadways far beyond the storm's path. This storm brings a complex mix: snow, sleet, freezing rain, and rain, changing by location and hour. Northern and western areas get steady snow. The transition zone faces dangerous sleet and freezing rain, creating black ice. Further south and east, cold rain falls on already messy roads, starting the melting process and setting up flooding risks. Just a degree or two can mean the difference between snow, ice, or rain. Stay alert. Conditions can change dramatically within a few miles. As the second warmer storm arrives, the threat shifts dramatically. Instead of snow and ice, water becomes the main danger, bringing a new set of challenges for communities already battered by winter weather. Warmer air means more precipitation falls as rain, and when it lands on top of deep snowpack, the risk of flooding rises sharply. Melting snow combined with heavy new rainfall will trigger widespread flooding across the Midwest and Northeast. Rivers and streams, already swollen from earlier storms, may quickly overflow their banks, threatening homes, businesses, and infrastructure. The ground, still frozen in many places, acts like a barrier, preventing water from soaking in. Ice jams on rivers add another layer of risk. As the ice breaks up, large chunks can pile up and block the flow, creating sudden, severe flooding upstream. These ice dams can burst without warning, sending torrents of water downstream and catching communities off guard. In cities, the situation can become especially dangerous. Melting snow and rainwater can quickly overwhelm storm drains, especially if they're clogged with debris or leftover ice. Streets can turn into rivers, and basements may flood in a matter of minutes, damaging property and creating hazardous conditions for residents. With the ground still frozen solid, it can't absorb the sudden influx of water. Instead, rain and meltwater run off rapidly, flowing into streams and rivers. This runoff can cause water levels to rise much faster than usual, increasing the risk of flash flooding in both rural and urban areas. urban and river flooding will be widespread and fast developing. Emergency services may struggle to keep up as water spreads quickly, cutting off roads and threatening neighborhoods. The speed and unpredictability of these floods make them especially dangerous. The combination of rain, meltwater, and blocked drainage creates a multifaceted hazard. Water, ice, and debris can clog drainage systems, making it even harder for floodwaters to recede. This can lead to prolonged flooding and increased damage to roads, vehicles, and buildings. As this warmer storm approaches, it's crucial to prepare for water, not just ice and snow. Residents should stay alert, monitor local forecasts, and take steps to protect their homes and families from the rising threat of floods. Dense fog is another hidden danger as warm, humid air flows over snow-covered ground. This advection fog can drop visibility to a quarter mile or less, especially in the early morning and at night. Fog makes highways perilous, increasing the risk of multi-car accidents. Air travel will also be disrupted, with delays and cancellations rippling across the country. Fog can linger in valleys and low spots, sometimes lasting all day. Melting snow and moist air create perfect conditions for persistent fog. Caution is key. Slow down and check travel updates before heading out. With wild weather swings, many wonder, when does spring really start? Meteorological spring begins March 1st, used for record-keeping and statistics. Astronomical spring starts at the vernal equinox, March 20th this year. The atmosphere ignores our calendars. Cold lingers even as days lengthen. True spring warmth often arrives weeks after meteorological spring, closer to the equinox. The weeks between are volatile, with dramatic shifts between snow and mild spells. For much of the Midwest and Northeast, lasting warmth usually waits until April. As March begins, stay alert. This weather roller coaster isn't over. Prioritize safety. Monitor forecasts, have a way to get alerts, and be ready to change travel plans. For snow and ice, keep shovels, salt, and emergency kits handy. For flooding, clear drains and watch for warnings. March will bring more temperature swings and the threat of late-season storms. Each warm-up will feel stronger, but winter's grip can linger. Patience is key. Spring will come, but on its own schedule. Stay prepared, stay safe, and be ready for whatever this wild season brings.